This is YouTube Joseph WM All Tomorrow's Colonials. I'll stop saying maybe beginners. Sorry, let's begin. We'll stop saying that. So yeah, just a quick warning before we start. The species we'll talk about today is some people might be creepy. They're just a sheet of flesh with eyes. They're just human sheets of flesh. Illness. If you don't want to watch it, turn it off. And you don't have to watch this episode if you don't want to. Anyway, that said, let's begin. So, most human, when the Cuba invaded, most of the Star People's planets were easily defeated, but one world managed to hold their ground and defeat the Q twice before. And then they used very powerful this rock like weapon. I don't know if they would call it, the Star People would call it a rocket. I don't know if they would call it, if they had the same language or any of that. I would probably have a different language, and probably a more advanced, anyway, topic for another time. Besides this over here, Star People managed to turn on, boom, boom, defeated the Q once, but the Q aren't going to give up. They come back a second time, and they try to resist the Star People. Boom. Just so you know, the Q destroyed the Star People civilization in less than 1,000 years. Boom, boom, boom. Which Star People have probably existed for like since they the time between they were created in the Great Earth Mars War in the 31st century up to now when they're being being captured and genetically modified by the Q. It's probably about 500,000 years it has been since the Star People were first created. The Golden Age probably began around 10 or 20,000 years after the Star People were created. When the Star People colonized the galaxy and all that. Now this Golden Age has ended. Boom. The Q have been resisted twice. Star People twice are like, but not so fast. The Q are not going to give up. They will not give up. Somehow, this time, I don't know if it happened exactly like this. Boom, 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 boom. They destroy all the Star People's civilization. Destroy their technology, all that. Now the third time, on the third wave of invasion, the Q had won. They begin to seep in and take over their newly conquered planet and the Star People on it. They turn them into, hold on, do not get scared. Here's the scene. This is the scene with the creepy species. Please don't get scared. If you don't have, I won't blame you for not watching this episode. Here they are, the colonials, the descendants of the Star People that resisted the Q. They were turned into sheets of Star People that resisted the Q were turned into, on this planet, were turned into sheets of human flesh with eyes and full consciousness. The Q forced them to retain consciousness and use them as a sewage filter make them live off the Q's poop just as a punishment for resisting them twice. If they were conscious and then were just forced to live this forced to they were forced to just for eternity have nothing to do with think. They could have gotten used. It could have been bearable. They could have gotten used to it. But because no, they suffered the worst because they were forced to retain full consciousness and eyes. And they were forced to only eat the waste of the cube. And they lived like this for before we get to probably also. The book doesn't say what happened to any of the Star People's domestic animals when the Q, or animals brought from Earth when the Q attacked. But I would assume on the colonials world, the Q would see them as accomplices to the Star People, so they would they would turn horses into this, dogs into this, and cows into this. This is my drawings. And birds into this. I mean, any birds. Basically, I believe that most of the domestic animals that the Star People and animals, I mean in general, brought from Earth, what happened to them when the Q attacked, I think they will talk more about this in a bonus scene. But I think most of them were either taken by the Q either took them as pets for themselves. Some of them were genetically modified alongside this. I mean, the Star People. I mean, the Q either used them as domestic animals, pets or livestock for themselves, or they, like I said, they genetically modified them alongside the Star People into whatever something similar to what the Star People were turned into. But dog, horse, and bovid and avian version, which is what this is. It's the dog colonials, the horse colonials. No, this is the horse colonials. This is the bovid colonials. This is the avian colonials. I don't know if they made the animals suffer as much as the Star People did, as the colonials did. They probably decided to maybe I'll talk more about this in bonus video, like I said. But the Q probably either did not leave them with consciousness, the animals, or if they did, they probably didn't make them eat the waste of the Q. They just made them sick. More likely, they didn't. They just went easy on the animals that were turned into colonial-like sheets, flesh. They probably just took away their consciousness. Or, I don't know. More on that in a bonus video. Alright, topic for another time. So then, hold on. Yeah, the colonials I don't know how big the colonial animals, animal colonials are, probably about the same size as or maybe a little bit bigger than human. Each flesh brick is probably about, the size of, I don't know, a little bit slightly bigger than the largest plates or dish plates, ceramic plates you have in your house. They would probably look like twice that big, or maybe a little bit bigger. Each flesh brick, I mean, of the colonials. So around 1 or 2 feet width. Probably 1 or 2 feet in length or height. It would really be height because they're just flesh bricks. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, the Q tortured them for 40 million years like this. Like they ruled over all the human worlds for 40 million years. Before they left, when the Q left them, they colonials hoped they would die out. They would die off. Now there was no Q waste to sustain them. But they didn't go extinct. The next few million years they became a nightmare world, and they continued to live like this. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare world, completely covered in living, conscious flesh. But they but the sorry, I'm getting distracted. But they didn't go extinct. In fact, they managed to evolve to regain their mobility and evolve into a species that lived comfortable, happy lives for a long time to come. Very long time to come. I'm not going to reveal what species that is. If you read the book or seen Beware the Cues, read aloud or listen to the All Shift X dramatization of All Tomorrows, and you know the answer. Do not share it in the comments. Do not spoil anything for anyone who hasn't read the book or seen the dramatization or watched the read aloud on Beware the Q. Please don't spoil it for anyone who hasn't did any of the. Like I said, please don't spoil this for anyone who hasn't read the book or seen the dramatization or the read aloud on Beware the Q. Please don't spoil it in the comments. If you know, keep it to yourself. Please. Until we get there, until I show it the story, the whole story. Or no, at least talk about the parts so far. Don't reveal. If you know what's happening next, don't reveal anything. Sorry if you got creeped out by this. It's okay, don't worry, not all the species are that creepy. Oh yeah, my mom thinks the whole story's creepy because of the illustrations. Anyway, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. As always, bye-bye.